give an example of a word that there is no has exact maybe from Indonesia into English or from English into Indonesia? Can you mention one?
What? Yes. I have no idea for.
Because if you know the definition without an example, I think it's weird because kamu sudah paham pengertiannya, but you don't know the example because in translation, yeah, yeah, we must, yeah. So many words that I told you at that time.
Like
for the example.
Like food?
Yeah, what's the specific kind of the food? That there is no direct or non-equivalent. Okay. You are doubt. Yeah, for example, yeah, okay. Let me ask the other. Thank you, Amelia.
Yes, sir.
I do appreciate your answer. I want to ask Yusuf Budiansa. Hi, Yusuf.
Yes, sir.
I'll try. You look okay today. Okay, so I think you are ready for my question. So what do you know about the process of translation? What are they? The process of translation.
The process of translation is in meeting 1. Yes, sir.
In meeting 1 or meeting 2, I didn't remember. So what do you know about the process of translation? The steps that someone or a translator does.
The translation, the process, I think is consists of studying the lexicon, grammatical structure, communication situation, and cultural context.
So you read it. You are reading it. You are reading it. I know. So what do you know about analyzing? What activities do you do in analyzing? Can you explain? Di tahap proses analisa, what do you do as a translator?
Read the text and translating one by one. I'm not really sure about my answer.
Just answer, and then I will give a feedback. Reading the text and then
reading the text and
only reading the text.
I'm translating one.
Oh, so you directly translate the words without having. So you directly translate the words without looking at or consult with dictionary. You directly translate it.
No, but sometimes if I think the word is kind of not familiar to me, I will use the dictionary for the translating.
Okay, so the first one is correct, that reading the text. In reading the text means that you have to find out difficulty words without translating it first. Okay, yeah, but I guarantee di proses pertama itu membaca, yes, but not only reading it, but to find out what kind of field of the text about. Okay, and then you have to find the difficult words first. Okay, underline the difficult words or circle them in the textbook. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Muhammad Yusuf.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
So far, you know the first step. Muhammad Yusuf Budiansyah. I'll try it then. We'll call Ade Fazrin.
Yeah.
Hi, Ade. Okay. Yeah.
My camera is freezing.
No, it works.
Okay.
Okay, what do you know about when you listen to my explanation at the time? Can you explain the same meaning components occur in several surface structure lexical items? Let me repeat. The same meaning components occur in several surface structure lexical items. Can you explain it to me and give the examples?
Translation that occur in a surface lexical item.
Okay, at the time, can
wait a minute.
Yes.
Can you repeat the language, the question, please?
Okay, the same meaning component occur in several surface structure lexical items. You know, lexical item means the vocabularies, the words. The same meaning component occur in several surface structure lexical item. Means that a meaning has many different words, but the same meaning. A word that has the same meaning can be in several words.
Oh, you mean the secondary meaning of a word?
No, that's different expression.
Word.
Different sentence.
You mean that many words can have same meaning?
No, I mean a word. It's contrary. A word means okay. A meaning, you know, meaning is not the same with the word. Meaning is the thought, the idea. Okay. A meaning can be found in many words. Okay, just give me an example. Just give you an example.
So the same meaning found in
many words.
Different
words. But it's the same in the same category.
Oh,
in the same category. Yes.
In the same lexical item. I think like many words, like many words. Like run. When you're running, it means that you run from one point to another point.
Okay.
And you can also fly, which means that you go really fast from one point to another point. It's basically the same meaning when you say he flies from there to there, and when the same meaning when you're saying he runs really fast from there to there, from point A to point B.
Okay, so it means that different sentences, but they have the same meaning.
Yes, more or less.
Okay, but this is a specific, not related to your explanation just now. Means that that's a larger context in translation. Okay, do you still remember when I gave you an example like the sheep? Yeah, the meaning of sheep, sapi, but in English, sheep, it can be categorized into three different words like ewe, ram. Yeah, that's I mean the same meaning. Yeah, but in different structure lexical items. Structure lexical item means the words. Okay.
Like lamb or sheep.
Yes. Okay. And this is also we can say this is superordinate and subordinate words. The superordinate word is the general word. For example, sheep. But sheep has the specific terms, specific thing. Yeah, for example, you for the female and adults, ram and lamb. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe you are a little bit confused. Confused to describe. Okay. Yeah, I do appreciate your explanation just now. Means that you tried much and yeah, you learned. Thank you. Okay, Ade Fazrin ya. Ade Fazrin. And I go to us, yeah, Lupita.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is different sentence. Okay, and when just now I asked Fazrin about the same meaning has several different or different structure of lexical items, but this one, the same structure of lexical items represents several alternative meanings. So it is both of these expressions are contrary to each other. So the same lexical items, the same word has many different meanings. Can you describe it?
Is it about the collocation?
Just explain it to me. What is that? What do you know about collocation?
I know a little bit about collocation.
Yeah, can you explain it?
It's where one word has a different or a variety of meaning in other words. For example, like black coffee. Black coffee doesn't really mean that the coffee is black, but black coffee also means that the coffee is bitter. It doesn't taste sweet or something like that.
Oh yes, that's the exact example. Okay, can you tell me the other examples, please? Not only collocation.
The word memahami.
Okay, and if we translate memahami into English,
it's understand, get, know, or comprehend. It has so many different words in English.
That's still denotative. Do you have a secondary meaning of memahami in English?
Secondary meaning.
So this is about secondary and primary meaning. Means that a word has different I mean, it represents several word meanings. I mean, a word represents several meanings. For example,
I have another example, like
okay.
The word run. The word run in general means running, but in some other sentences, for example, like I run out of milk, it doesn't mean that the milk is running, but it means that I don't have any more milk.
Oh yes, excellent. So just now collocation, yes, it is also found in several alternative meanings. Means that the collocation means the word black with the other word. But the second example is the exact examples that I gave to you several weeks ago. Means that the word run, if the word run has the different subjects, the meaning of the word run are different. Yeah, and also run followed by different object, the run also has many different meanings. All right. Thank you so much. You got it, Lupita.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. The oath. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
You are breathing?
Insya Allah, hadir, sir.
Okay. You have a bad connection, Dio. Speak again, please.
Hello.
You are breathing? Is this my connection or yours? Yang lain, could you, please respond. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Faisal. Dio yang koneksinya nge-lag ya, karena freezing di sini, freezing. Dio, hi.
It's
Okay, let me skip.
lagging, sir. Patah-patah.
I
gitu.
give, ya.
Tes.
Oh ya, okay. Dio, coba cek lagi, cek sounds, please. It's your connection. I bet it's your connection.
Yeah.
Okay, just close the camera. Say hello, Dio. Patah-patah ya. Okay, but you can still hear my voice, Dio. Masih bisa dengar suara saya tapi.
Not really, sir. Your sound is like freezing sometimes, or ya apa patah-patah gitu.
My voice. Kalau yang lain suara saya patah-patah juga. Berarti kalau yang lain juga mendengarkan suara saya patah-patah, berarti koneksi saya. How about the others?
Enggak patah-patah, sir.
Enggak ya. Berarti signal kamu, Dio. Karena memang dari tadi kamu breathing videonya. Okay, just turn off the camera. Maybe it's caused. Okay, bisa dengar suara saya, Dio?
Coba. Bisa, sir, bisa.
Okay, I'll try. Let's start. Okay, Dio, when you find a non-equivalent word from the SL, and then you don't have the exact word in the target text, what strategies do you do?
If I can found any words in
it is about non-equivalence. How do you handle non-equivalence word in translation?
Firstly, I will hear what is he saying, terus saya kayak mencoba untuk memahaminya, gitu. So, gitu.
Saying it is not an oral. Ini bukan dalam hal berbicara, tapi penerjemahan itu tekstual. I mean, if you are seeing a text that you will translate, but you can't find any exact word in the target text, that means you have a non-equivalence word. So what do you do? How do you handle to translate the word?
Kalau saya sendiri, kalau misalnya saya melihat kata-kata seperti itu, saya mencari dulu grammarnya gitu. Setelah itu saya telaah lagi gitu.
Okay, Dio, let me repeat. This is a word, not a sentence. Non-equivalence word, but it is not related to grammar. Why do you have to find out the grammar structure? Yang saya tanyakan, kalau ketemu dengan kata yang tidak ada padanannya di bahasa sasaran, strategi apa yang kamu gunakan untuk menerjemahkan kata tersebut? Let me give you a clue. Apakah kamu tidak menerjemahkannya atau translating by omission?
Maksudnya secara ini Pak, secara sendiri gitu. Maksudnya nggak sesuai dengan grammar gitu, misalnya gitu bukan Pak?
Oh, coba dijelaskan lagi. Saya masih bingung dengan karena.
Coba tolong itu Pak, tolong ulangin lagi Pak pertanyaannya Pak.
Okay. When you find a non-equivalent word, yeah, when you translate, for example, English text into bahasa Indonesia, and then there is no equivalent word in bahasa Indonesia for this word from English into bahasa Indonesia. So how do you translate the word into bahasa Indonesia? Because in bahasa Indonesia there is no any exact word that has the same meaning. Bagaimana cara kamu menerjemahkan kata yang tersebut, kata yang tadi, yang bukan equivalent, yang tidak ada padanannya di bahasa Indonesia? Oke, kalau kamu contohnya biar lebih jelas, karena kamu masih bingung dengan pertanyaannya, mungkin kalau kamu menemukan kata hotdog, bagaimana kamu cara menerjemahkannya ke bahasa Indonesia? Nah, hotdog kan tidak ada padanan katanya di bahasa Indonesia.
Kalau itu saya bisa hotdog itu apa? Mungkin saya bisa melihat apa arti lainnya gitu dari selain hotdog itu Pak gitu. Jadi
arti lainnya dengan cara bagaimana?
Dengan cara
kalau sebentar Diouf, kita kan menerjemahkan harus sama atau setidak-tidaknya jangan mengubah arti. Kalau melihat arti lainnya berarti artinya tidak sama nanti.
Tapi kalau hotdog itu Pak, itu kan slang apa ya?
Bukan slang, kata-kata yang berhubungan dengan budaya.
Oh,
hasil karya atau makanan barat kan beda dengan makanan timur kan?
Iya benar.
Nah, bagaimana kamu menerjemahkan kata hotdog itu ke bahasa Indonesia biar orang Indonesia paham teks yang kamu terjemahkan?
Kalau gitu saya lihat dulu apa struktur hotdog itu, terus saya kasih tahu lah, misalkan terbuat dari apa gitu, terus bentuknya seperti apa gitu. Ya, umumnya gitu.
Coba cek PPT kamu di pertemuan kita yang pertama. Di situ ada how to handle non-equivalent word. Ya, dibaca dulu ya Diouf ya.
Iya Pak, baik Pak.
Oke, baik. Tapi kamu ya tadi yang penjelasan terakhir sudah mulai dapat kok. Mencari deskripsi berarti translating by paraphrase atau giving description. Ada beberapa cara lain, Diouf ya. Thank you, Diouf. Okay, and okay. No one opens the camera, so I need to ask Shakira. Oh yeah, you are here. Shakira.
Yes, sir.
Iya, cek sound dulu berarti kan. Shakira, can you explain a little bit about translation process? Maybe based on Naida and Tabir or based on Larson theory? You can paraphrase.
So translation based what I read earlier. Translation process is include analyzing, which you can list it, like you read so many books and list some collocations, and then later on you can transferring, like you start to translating the words and then you reproducing it what I read, like you maybe you finally give it to the penerbit.
Okay, So yeah, 75% your explanation is okay. I mean, you understand. So in reproducing, what do you do exactly, specifically?
Maybe what I get is you start to produce the other text from the source language.
What do you mean with produce?
Like making another making another product, like apa ya? Kan kalau sebelumnya itu pakai source language, and when we reproduce it, so we will turn it into a target language.
So the mean produce here to translate.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So in translating, what is the I mean, if you find the difference between the structure, so what do you do? Do you follow the structure of the source language?
So when the
do you modify it?
I think it depends on the text.
Okay, what's your opinion? Do both language have the same structure?
Maybe some of them, yes.
Okay, maybe. Okay, when you find a different structure, what do you do?
We try to understand the structure first from the sentence, and then we try to make it more understandable so that it doesn't make the reader confused next time. Not next time, I mean later on.
Yes, means that you have to modify the structure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, means that you change the structure based on the target text structure.
Yeah.
Ya, kalau kamu nanti tidak ubah, berarti nanti gadis beautiful girl, berarti kamu terjemahkan cantik gadis nanti. So we have to modify.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have after getting the meaning, and then we translate, we reproduce, and then we modify the structure. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. You got it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Safira. I go to Dian Anggraini, please.
Yeah.
All right, Dian. Okay. Dian, what do you know? Okay. Yeah. In analyzing the text, the first step in the translation process, what activities do you do? What activities do you do in analyzing the text of the SLT? Lupa ya?
Analyzing it in order to determine its meaning.
To determine the meaning. Langsung menentukan maknanya? No. Bagaimana kamu menentukan maknanya kalau kamu masih baru melihat teksnya? Tadi udah dijelaskan loh. Bener kan, Lupita? Sudah saya jelaskan kan?
Yes, sir.
Apalagi tadi yang pertanyaan saya ke teman kamu yang tadi laki-laki kok nggak salah. Dia menyebutkan analyzing dan saya sudah jelaskan. Saya ingin tahu apakah kamu mendengarkan penjelasan saya tadi. Selain membaca, kamu apalagi yang kamu lakukan di tahap pertama sebelum kamu mencari maknanya? Itu kan di tahap kedua kan, mencari makna dengan consult with dictionary. Kenapa, Neng? Oke. Saya skip dulu untuk Dian. Nanti kita kembali lagi. Thank you so much, Dian. Iya. It doesn't matter means that you've tried. Ya, kalau kamu sudah mencoba, saya apa ya? I do appreciate the process in this learning method, ya. Dian Anggraini. And then I go to Dohan. Are you here, Dohan? Dohan? Okay. Dohan, I'm okay. I make a different mark here. Red mark means that he doesn't answer me. And I go to Dini.
Yes, sir. Wait.
Okay. Okay. Do you... Okay, have you opened? Yeah, okay. So in translation project, what matters that you have? I mean, what matters are there in the translation project? I mean, in doing the translation in team, what matters do you face?
What?
Okay, maybe you are confused with my question. I mean, in working in the translation company, so we have to work with other people, and then we have to use some tools. So mention the names.
Mention the names of the tools or
the matters, all the matters, semua hal-hal yang berhubungan dengan translation project tadi. Ada apa? For example, the tools such as dictionaries, glossaries,
yes.
and what are else?
Text target.
Yes, because kan dalam penerjemahan pasti ada. Before ada target text itu harus ada dulu apanya? Masa langsung target text? Nggak ada target text sebelum ada source.
Source language.
Text.
Source
Iya,
language.
ada source text.
Sorry.
And then, what else? Biar kamu paham nih di dunia nanti pekerjaan penerjemahan seperti apa. Jadi bertemu, kamu akan ada nanti kamus, daftar kosakata yang disebut dengan glossaries. It relates to the specific field, ya. Kalau kamus kan general, kalau glossaries kan sesuai bidangnya. Nah, kamu juga akan menemukan pastinya ada karena itulah the main source kita ya, source language text. And then what else? Do you work with yourself?
No, I work with co-translate, I guess.
Co-translator. So what is co-translator? What does he or she do?
She's a specialist. She's specialist in receptor language, I guess.
Only the receptor language?
No.
Or both?
Both. Both in source and receptor language.
Okay. What is the benefit co-translator to the main translator? What is the benefit or the importance?
Sorry, sir?
What is the benefit? What is the advantages of having co-translator? Why do we have to work with them? Why don't you work with yourself?
Because
what is the reason?
Because I need consultant, advisor. When I'm translate from the source language to receptor language, yes, so I need that co-translate who a specialist in source language and receptor language.
Okay,
And
makes
that's it.
sense. Means that when you find a non-equivalent words,
Yes,
yeah,
and I need some
non-equivalent word, and
advisement.
okay, you have to ask the native speaker or the specialist. Okay, how about the tools and then code translator, and they are called work in a team, right?
Yes.
Okay, team consists of translator, code translator, and also the other workers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Thank you. Different.
Okay.
I just asked a question for a student. Thank you, Dini.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Now I go to Fauzandi. Hi,
Yes, sir.
Fauzan.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, you are here now. Okay, Fauzan, what do you know about cultural substitution in translation?
Cultural substitution.
Yes.
Cultural substitution. What I know about the substitution.
Kalau di pemain bola kan ada namanya pemain cadangan kan, atau substitusi ya, pengganti ya, pemain pengganti kan. Nah, kalau di dalam penerjemahan apa maksudnya cultural substitution words?
Cultural substitution apa? Mungkin mengganti kata yang berasal dari source language ke bahasa yang kita mengerti, atau meminjam kata mereka terus kita
meminjam beda lagi dengan cultural.
Apa? Kata-kata ini mengganti kata-katanya ya, substitution itu mengganti kata-katanya.
Oke, mungkin penjelasannya kamu memang agak ini mengungkapkannya. Can you give an example?
Maybe apa? What's it then? What is the name? Translating the noun or unknown concept in the source language by using this. What's the name? Apa ya bahasanya? Yang bahasa Inggris ke Indonesianya.
I gave you at the time maybe more than one examples. You can make other examples such as in bahasa Inggris we find Thanksgiving, and then
Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving
we can translate into pesta panen in Indonesia.
Oh yeah, apa?
So can you make other example?
Thanksgiving. Christmas. Christmas is in Indonesia. It's like Idul Fitri, maybe. Or Idul apa?
No, it's different. Christmas is Hari Raya. But Idul Fitri Day, yes, Idul Fitri Day.
Idul Fitri ya, Christmas is.
Nanti beda banget loh kalau diterjemahkan Christmas dengan Idul Fitri, because they have different beliefs, right?
Yeah, yes. What is the name?
Okay. Mungkin kamu jelaskan saja dalam bahasa Indonesia apa sih yang disebut dengan tadi cultural substitution itu dengan contoh yang saya buatkan tadi.
Substitution itu apa? Mengganti kata dari bahasa bahasa sumbernya kebahasaan kita mengerti. Kebahasaan kita mengerti agar kita tidak salah paham kata-kata mereka, seperti itu kata kayak apa, I'm running out of milk, itu bukan berarti susunya itu lari, tapi kita itu kehabisan susu, mungkin kayak gitu.
Oke, saya simpan dulu jawabannya meskipun saya belum persis paham dengan penjelasan kamu. Mungkin nanti akan kamu baca kembali. Fauzandi, thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. And I go to Muhammad Azmi Siregar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, what do you know about literal translation? For his name just now Siregar. Azmi?
Yes, sir.
Can you open the camera, please?
Lagi enak badan.
I means you feel some illnesses?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just answer my question, by the way. Thank you. And I pray get better soon.
Tadi pertanyaannya apa, sir? Literatur apa?
What do you know about literal translation?
Literature translation. Ini, sir, a form-based translation attempt to follow the form of the search language.
Can you make an example in Bahasa Indonesia? Okay, I skip Muhammad Azmi. I go to other person. Thank you so much, Muhammad Azmi. I go to Fawaz.
I'm sorry, sir. I think Fawaz is not here.
Oh, I mean, he's not active in this semester.
I don't think so. Kemarin tuh seperti yang sudah saya bilang tadi, Pak, di WA tadi.
Oh, this is Fawaz means the same person that you told me just now.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I thought she were a girl just now. He is a boy.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give brown mark. Okay. Thank you, Diof, for responding.
Yeah, sure.
Muhammad Afif.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for opening the camera. Muhammad Afif Hadianto. Okay. Afif, what do you, can you make the difference, can you explain the difference between literal and idiomatic translation?
Literal and idiomatic translation.
Yes.
I think kalau yang literal translation itu it's like arti harfiahnya gitu, kayak I bought some car gitu. Apa kalau dalam bahasa Indonesianya aku membeli mobil. Tapi kalau idiomatic gimana idiomatiknya?
Okay, you know about harafiah or the literal translation, but you haven't mastered or you haven't understand well about idiomatic translation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Muhammad Afif, for being honest, and I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And I go to Lupita. Lupita just now. Sorry. I have asked Lupita. And I go to Ilham.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
check is Ilham here? Oh, yes. Ilham is here. I thought you were absent just now. Ilham Santoso Putra, is that your name?
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready to be asked?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, willy or not, ya mau nggak mau harus ya. Okay, what do you know about idiomatic translation, Ilham? And can you make an example, please?
I think idiomatic is slang.
Slang means what? It is a kind of slang words?
Kayak kata gaul. Yes.
I can't listen you. Ilham, where are you? Outside of the house or inside of the house?
Suara saya putus-putus, sir, kalau nyalain kamera.
Okay, just close it. Turn off the camera and start answering my question. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can you repeat, sir? Baru lancar sekarang.
Okay. What do you know about idiomatic translation, Ilham?
Idiomatic.
Bukan idiomati. Idiomatic. Oke, idiomatis ya. Idiomatis. Apa sih penerjemahan secara idiomatis itu, Ilham? Kalau kelamaan saya anggap baca buku loh. Kalau nggak langsung respon.
No, I think no, it is, sir.
Berarti saya skip dulu ya. Thank you, Ilham. I go to other students. Dia lagi ngobrol sama temennya. Berarti belajar bersama tadi. Belum pulang mereka. And I go to Linda. Can you open the camera and sort?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. How are you?
Good, sir.
Good. Only good, not great. Okay. So, what do you? Okay, as a good translator, to the best goal is to have a best or a good translation work. So, what? Okay. What do you do to make your translation best for the reader?
Uses the normal language. Is that?
Just answer first, and then I will give a feedback.
Uses the normal language and then communicate as much as possible, and then apa ya? Terakhir itu melestarikan dinamika teks dari sumber language yang asli gitu, sir.
Also, what do you mean about dynamics? Dinamika. What do you know about dynamics?
Dynamic itu kayak
enggak kayak kalau sudah kuliah itu seperti jangan lagi kayak king lagi. Ya seperti such as
dinamika itu seperti kata yang asli gitu. sir.
Beda. Kalau kata yang asli, diterjemahkan asli berarti meminjam berarti. Oke, berarti masih bingung dengan dynamics ya. Tapi tadi you've understood about what is best translation mean. Oke,
Yes, sir.
tapi caranya yang itu kamu belum paham karena itulah yang spesifik untuk membuat terjemahan lebih bagus berarti harus dinamis tapi kamu tidak tahu seperti apa yang dinamis. But thank you so much, you've tried much. Thank you, Dinda.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. And I need to call Anissa.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anissa is here. Okay. Anissa, what do you, can you paraphrase the definition of translation? What is translation? Kenapa harus tangannya seperti itu, kayak orang malas?
Karena ini lagi ada di meja.
Tegak dong, atau jangan ditaruh. Kayak gini kan kayak lagi nonton film Korea. Ya.
Oke. Translation itu penerjemahan itu.
Explain in English, please. It's easy because there are so many definitions I gave to you at the time. I explained so many translation definitions. Can you repeat, please?
Translating the meaning of the search language.
Can you repeat louder? Can you speak louder? Is it raining there? Hujan di sana?
Gerimis.
Oh, kok suaranya seperti angin ini ya, kencang. Can you repeat? And then I need you to speak up. I mean louder so that I can hear your voice clearly.
Transferring the meaning of the source language text into receptor language.
Okay. Only transfer the meaning.
Using the receptor language to consist natural.
Don't speak mumbling, jangan menggerutu. Speak louder.
Okay. Gugup. Reproducing in the receptor language.
Reproducing, same with transferring. It's the same. I ask, is that only about the meaning, not other things? Okay, but you understand the definition of not only the meaning. How about the structure? Okay, thank you, Anissa. I do appreciate it. Anissa kok cepet-cepet ditutup kameranya. Malu dia. Oke. Sorry. Putu, are you here, Putu?
Yes, sir.
Oh ya, Putu. Oke, sudah semuanya saya tanyakan. Okay, in translation, there is a larger context, means that in a sentence can be structured into many different structures, different forms, but in the same meaning. Can you give an example, please? The same form, the same meaning in a form can be formed into many structures or can be translated into many sentences. Okay, specifically a sentence can be translated into many sentences, but they have the same meaning. Can you make an example?
Is it like that what Lupita say kayak mengerti jadi kayak get, understand? Is it like that?
Get, understand?
Yeah, no.
Okay, it's a word. It's a word. I mean a sentence. A sentence can be translated into. Do you know sentence? What is the difference between word and sentence, Putu?
Kalau word kata, kalau sentence kalimat.
Yeah, that's the translation. Di dalam kalimat ada apa saja sih? When you learn writing, apa lexical items yang ada di dalam kalimat?
Is it
Yeah,
like noun?
Yeah, noun. Noun can be as a subject and object, right?
Yeah.
And adjective, adverb can be as a complement. Verb can be as a predicate. So when you translate a sentence, you can transfer the same meaning, but different sentences. Maybe okay. I gave you an example at the time. A question can be transferred into a statement or a command sentence. Ada nggak penjelasan saya? I just want to make sure. Shakira, ada nggak penjelasan saya waktu itu mengenai hal ini? Or do you still remember?
Is it like my house, sir? Kayak my house means you own your house, terus atau enggak kamu tinggal di rumah itu, atau bisa jadi kamu rent a house.
Oh, berarti itu different meaning. Yang saya tanyakan malah the same meaning, but found in several sentences. Ada kalimat-kalimat yang berbeda strukturnya, tapi maknanya sama. Oke, ya mungkin kamu masih sedikit bingung untuk yang mana sih yang spesifik ini. Kalau saya buatkan contoh yang tadi, semestinya kamu sudah paham. Contohnya begini loh. Rumah ini milikku. Bisa kamu bilang milik ini aku yang punya. Rumah ini aku yang punya. Atau rumah ini dimiliki olehku. Atau rumah ini pokoknya dari pasif ke aktif. Atau pokoknya banyak. Bentuknya bisa pasif aktif atau frasa ini milikku, rumah ini punyaku, ya kan? Oke. Contoh yang lain yang seperti yang saya berikan kemarin waktu itu, I want to sit here. Saya ingin duduk di sini. Bisa kamu dalam bentuk pertanyaan. Contohnya, can I sit here? Padahal tadi kalimatnya kan I want to sit here. Can I sit here? Is this seat taken? Ya, apakah kursi ini sudah ada yang mendudukinya atau sudah ada yang punya? Ya, jadi maknanya sama, cuman dibuat menjadi kalimat yang berbeda strukturnya. Paham tidak?
Oh, paham, sir.
Oke, sekarang you understand. Thank you, Putu. Maybe another day I will ask another question to you. Thank you so much, Putu.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Sekar, Ayu, Mariam, Putri.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you are here now, Sekar. Okay. What are specific one? Okay, this is a term. When I talk to the time, for example, the use of suffix or the using affixes. So a meaning component or some components of meaning are in package. Yeah. So can you explain it? The term apa sih yang dimaksud dengan yang tadi? Komponen arti itu dibungkus dalam bentuk lexical items. So what does it mean?
It means that they are like packaged differently from one language to another. Maybe like
And Lukita mentioned the examples just now.
The
examples of the words.
You mean like running out of milk one?
Can you make an example?
Wait.
Yeah, you told me just now. I mean, translation of a word is different in other languages.
Yeah, maybe the word busted, like when you say that person is busted for stealing something, and it actually means like they're caught doing something bad. Is that?
Okay, you don't have to explain more. I mean, I need the exact examples from the SLT into TLT. Contoh spesifiknya yang tadi kamu bilang satu kata bisa mengandung beberapa terjemahan di bahasa sasaran kan, atau di bahasa lainnya. Satu kata, a word itu bisa berbagai macam kata di bahasa lain kan?
Yes.
So can you give an example of the from SL into TL? Or do you still confused?
I think I understand, but I'm just finding it hard to find an example. Maybe like in the literal sense, it would be kayak jatuh, but you could use it as like falling for someone. Artinya kayak jatuh cinta buat someone like.
Okay, that's I asked just now to a friend of yours. At the time, these are the different words, or a word represents many meanings. Yeah, run can be can be translated into mengalir, berlari, meler, bekerja, mengusahakan. Yeah, a word represents many several alternative meanings. But my question is just now, meaning components are in package into lexical items. Itu tadi kamu definisinya sudah benar tuh. Yang tadi apa? Package differently in package differently. Kamu tadi apa? Can you retell me?
Package differently from one language to another.
Yeah, that's the exact definition. So after having known the definition, you have to give some examples or an example to prove that it is true. Okay, what do you know about lexical items? When you learn linguistics, what is lexical items mean? Berbentuk apa sih item leksikal itu? Pernah belajar morphology?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lexical item. The suffix as, es, or un, an, these. That's bound morpheme and added by free morpheme. That's lexical items. Nah, jadi maksudnya huruf contohnya begini. Penggunaan lexical item itu bisa morpheme atau kata ya. Nah, maksudnya di dalam lexical items itu ada meaning banyak. Contohnya penggunaan akhiran s. Akhiran s itu kan bisa mengungkapkan plurality for nouns, right? Is it?
Iya.
Tapi different meaning kalau s itu digunakan untuk yang kata kerja kan? Artinya malah itu singularity kan? Artinya dia kan subjeknya singular pronoun kan, she, he, it kan, makanya kita di simple present dia kiri s dan es kan untuk subjek she, he, it, kata kerjanya dia kiri s or es kan.
Iya.
Nah kan itu namanya different gitu. One lexical item tapi different ya. Oke, atau itu kan masih lexical item terkecil, itu masih suffixes. Ya, word misalkan tadi si Lukita kan menerjemahkan it is not about secondary meaning. I mean the same meaning but different word. Not sentences seperti yang saya tanya tadi Putu. Kalau saya Putu kan different sentences. Kalau ini different word. For example, memahami kan bisa diartikan dengan comprehend, understand, kan? Tapi mereka masih satu arti kan? Tapi kan different word kan? Ya itu maksudnya. Sudah paham tidak sekarang?
Ya udah.
Yes, thank you so much. You've tried. Who's next? Tadi Sekar Ayu, and then now I'm going to call Shakira. Are you present, Miss Shakira?
Sir, but tadi udah saya.
Oh, Shakira tadi sudah ya. Apa tadi pertanyaan saya, Shakira?
Process of translating.
Tapi bisa jawab nggak tadi? Kayaknya saya skip nama kamu deh di sini. Belum ada warnanya.
Bisa, sir.
Bisa kan? Apa tadi kamu jawabnya?
Ada analyzing, transferring, sama reproducing.
Nah, pertanyaan saya yang kedua tadi ada nggak yang lebih spesifik?
Iya cuma suruh tanya apa namanya?
Di
Reproducing.
tahap reproducing.
Iya.
Apa tadi? Di tahap reproducing tadi apa?
Ini modifying the sentences.
Oke. Itu yang tadi kamu belum paham kan?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Virli.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to ask you, Virli. Yeah, Firly, I have the same question. What is the difference between literal and idiomatic translation? As I asked just now to one of your friend. Tadi sudah saya tanya tapi dia belum bisa jawab. Can you tell me?
Yes. So literal translation is a form-based
And also you, sorry, interruption. And you also, you can't open the camera?
I opened my camera already.
Oh iya, it's tertutup sama Excel saya. Saya lagi membuka list kalian, nama-namanya. Alright, silakan Firly. Go on.
So the literal translation is form-based translation, attempt to follow the form of the source language. For the example, my house is on the right side. Nah, secara harfiahnya itu artinya rumahku berada di sisi kanan.
Okay.
Oh no. Harfiahnya itu kalau misalnya ditranslate menjadi bahasa Indonesia, artinya itu rumahku berada di sisi kanan. Tapi kalau misalnya ditranslate secara harfiah menjadi rumahku berada di dalam kanan sisi.
Okay, so that's the definition of okay. You gave us just now the definition of literal translation, and you directly gave the example of literal and idiomatic. So what is idiomatic in your based on your example just now? So what is idiomatic?
Example-nya atau definition?
The definition.
Definition. It's translation makes every wait. It's base translation makes every effort to communicate, and the meaning of the source language text is the natural forms of the receptor language.
Stop. Okay. Yeah. Natural form. So how do you make it natural?
The text.
That's the specific one that you have to tell us. How do you make the translation natural?
Using the clear words.
Clear? Only clear?
No.
Clear means
natural. Disesuaikan dengan jenis teksnya.
Jenis teksnya masih terlalu general. Coba digali lagi. Jenis teksnya maksudnya contohnya apa nih? Bukan jenis teksnya, tapi tadi konteks di mana teks tersebut digunakan itu bukan?
Tidak memakai bahasa yang baku.
Baku. Baku malah harafiah, Firly.
Oh.
Kan baku. Ini malah tidak baku lagi karena dia idiomatic, hidden meaning dia. Iya, tadi benar menyesuaikan kata tersebut sesuai dengan konteksnya. Apa sih konteks? Kemarin sudah saya jelaskan. What do you know about context, Firly? Karena kita sering loh, kamu nggak bicara dalam konteks sih, kamu ini sih. Konteks itu apa sih menurut kamu, Firly?
It's the words that are used with a certain word or phrase, and it can help to explain its meaning.
Okay, context means that the word relates to another word in the sentences, and the word is related to the field of the text. Jadi teks disesuaikan dengan kata-kata di dalam kalimat tersebut, atau bisa juga teks tersebut ada di bidang apa gitu. Nah, itu namanya konteks. Teks tersebut artinya berhubungan dengan kondisi situasi komunikasinya. Seperti itu ya, Firly ya. But I mean 75% you understand how to, I mean literal translation, yes, you know it, but idiomatic means that you only know the examples, but you haven't, you can't, yeah, convey the meaning, the definition. Now, why do I have to study about theory? Because one day, because you are a academician, you have to transfer your thought to other people. Ya, itu makanya kita selalu di dalam teori memang seperti itu, banyak diskusi. Bagaimana cara kamu mengatur kalimat kamu biar orang paham, ya. Okay, thank you, Billy. And I do thank you for giving the explanation just now and the example. That's the good example. Virli Alicia. Now I go to Vishnu. Oh, yes.
Sir.
Can you open the camera?
Yeah.
Mana sih wajah kamu, Bang? Oh yes, kok tadi di samping, sekarang kamu ke tengah. Ini kok macam-macam aja itunya aplikasinya. Sebentar ya, lagi suara azan. All right. In translation process, Larson stated, and there's a third step, she or he mentioned about reconstructing, and I then Trevor also mentioned about restructuring. Those two terms have the same definition. So can you explain in the third step, reconstructing or restructuring, what activities does a translator do?
Maksudnya kayak apa yang translator itu lakuin?
Ya, di dalam proses penerjemahan, tapi proses yang terakhir itu.
I think it's like they just translating the language to another language, like English to Spanish, English to Indonesian.
Means that the activities that you translate the meaning, you translate the SLT into 2LT?
Yeah.
Okay, after translating, what do you do for the final step? Means that after translating and then you give your translation result as it is, without any checkings, without any modifying. Berarti kalau itu kan menerjemahkan itu malah langkah kedua, Bang. Langkah ketiga itu setelah menerjemahkan ada proses selanjutnya. Artinya setelah kita memindahkan pesan di tahap kedua itu, kita merekonstruksi, artinya mengubah hal-hal yang memang perlu diubah. Contohnya grammar, bukan grammar tapi strukturnya, menerangkan, diterangkan. Kamu sudah tahu misalkan buku, book, besar, big. Tapi kalau kamu menerjemahkan buku besar, bukan kamu terjemahkan book big, tapi harusnya a big book, ya. Itu kan ada di situ reconstruct, ya kan?
Oh iya.
Bukan di situ menerjemahkannya. Alright. Satu pertanyaan lagi untuk kamu. And di dalam menerjemahkan teks non-equivalent, apa yang disebut dengan cultural description or cultural substitution?
Pardon, sir? What?
Okay, in handling a non-equivalent word in translation, we use a strategy means a cultural substitution. What do you know about cultural substitution?
Cultural substitution. It's like accurate cultural word.
Yes, non-equivalence is a culture relates to cultural words. So how do you translate the word using cultural substitution? What do you know about cultural substitution? Oke, masih kamu bingung, Wisnu? Padahal tadi sudah saya jelaskan loh, karena ada teman kamu tadi yang saya tanyakan seperti itu dan saya sudah jelaskan. Siapa tadi? Yang saya tanya tadi Fauzandi kalau nggak salah ya. Kamu dengarkan tadi, Wisnu?
Yes, sir.
Oh iya, lupa berarti kamu. Thank you, Wisnu.
Okay.
I go to Novisa.
Yes, sir.
Semakin ada berapa orang lagi ya? 4 ya. Oke. Novisa, coba diulang lagi. What is the difference between idiomatic translation and literal translation?
Idiomatic. So, achieving a target text that sounds natural in the target language.
So what is that? Idiomatic or literal?
Idiomatic, sir.
So how about literal translation? Adrian, Alvina, Faisal, Halish. Yeah, just go on. Hey, could you please tell me in bahasa Indonesia so that it can be easier for you? Apa penerjemahan literal, bedanya dengan idiomatis itu apa? Novisa.
Literal itu arti harfiah, idiomatik.
Apa yang disebut dengan harafiah itu?
Kata yang aslinya, yang sebenarnya.
Kalau idiomatis? Okay, it seems that you are still confused. Thank you, Novisa. Untuk menyingkat waktu, saya skip dulu, tapi saya berikan nilai yang seadanya saja dulu ya. Yang penting nanti masih ada nanti selanjutnya saya akan ini. Adrian, are you here, Adrian?
I think he's not here, sir.
Okay.
I don't know. Wait a minute, I will check the absent right now.
Okay, let me make it in the red. Red crowd. Okay. Alvina, are you here, Alvina?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. In the second step, Larson stated about. Okay, the first is analyzing, and the second one is okay. The first is studying, and the second one is analyzing, and the third one is reconstructing. So, in analyzing the text, what do you do as a translator? The process of the translation. What do you do?
Pertama pasti ngelihat teksnya gitu, baca teksnya. Terus saya analisis kan.
Iya, in analyzing. Berarti itu analyzing kan? Nah, di dalam analyzing itu ngapain?
Kayak
ngebaca ulang teksnya gitu, terus ngertiin.
Nanti kalau dibaca-baca ulang lagi berarti balik-balik ke nomor 1 dong, studying terus. Sekarang sudah tahapnya move on, analyzing. Kita udah mau pacar baru lagi, bukan lagi di studying. Masa kita sampai tua nyari pacar terus. Nah sekarang sudah ada nih calon pacar, berarti kita apain nih gebetan kita itu ada di studying. Analyzing bukan.
Ini apa? Cari vocabnya mungkin, cari tahu vocabulary-nya atau grammarnya.
Yes, after finding the same exact vocabularies, what else?
Grammarnya?
No, grammar is the last step. Kita nanti makan waktu kalau langsung grammar kita fokuskan di tahap proses. Ya kita terjemahkan aja dulu semuanya. Tadi kan kamu sudah bilang, berarti bukan hanya finding saja, tapi sudah menerjemahkan, transferring, kan? Nah, ini maksudnya analyzing itu sebenarnya meskipun kata analyze, di dalam situ kita sudah menemukan makna-makna kata yang susah. Dan disitulah proses penerjemahannya terjadi. Nah, kalau sudah reconstructing atau restructuring, bukan lagi proses penerjemahan, tapi sudah proses editing di situ, drafting, revising. Paham?
Iya.
Alright. Thank you, Alvina.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Alvina Rahmadani. Faisal, are you here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Faisal Abdillah. Yeah, the same question. Okay, what do you know about paraphrasing?
Paraphrasing?
Yeah, in translation strategy, a translator usually use paraphrasing. So what is paraphrasing in translation?
Paraphrasing is make some words.
You make the words.
I don't know what is paraphrasing means, sir.
Oh, so you forget it? You forget.
Yes, just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I skip you first, Faisal, like the others. Nanti kita kembali lagi ya. Okay, thank you. And I go to Halisa Azka.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. Okay, Halisa Azka, what do you know about literal and idiomatic? Can you make the differences and make examples, please?
Okay, sure. In my opinion, literal translation is when you translate the source language into the receptor language without changing the form of the source language itself. But the example is like book, and we translate it to buku. And when it's the idiomatic translation, we translate the source language into the receptor language or transfer language, and we change it with the form of the transfer language itself. Yeah, and I think the example is out of the box, maybe. Artinya kan di luar kotak kalau misalnya we translate it into literal meaning, but we translate it into idiomatic translation. We translate it into thinking out of the box, like think
Yeah, in bahasa Indonesia, what is it? You don't have to explain. Just now you transfer literal, and then the literal translation is di luar kotak. And then what is the idiomatic translation in bahasa Indonesia for out of the box?
Berpikir secara luas gitu, like.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't have to explain anymore. So that's the examples. Thank you so much. You've got it.
Thank you, sir.
And now I'm going to have Muhammad Iqbal. Sir, are you here, Iqbal?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. Muhammad Iqbal?
Sir.
Oh yeah, I see you now. Okay. Ini saya sambil membuka Excel document, jadi kadang tertutup. Okay. Yeah, what do you know about loan in translation field? Loan means what? What is loan word?
Loan word?
Loan, L-O-A-N, loan word.
A word with no translation?
Yes, of course it relates to the translation. So if the translator using loan word, so what does it mean, loan word? Can you explain it?
A word that taken from other language.
You take it 100%.
Borrow it. Yes.
Yes, you borrow it. So okay. And if you don't, after borrowing it, and then how if we modified it into, like it fits to the phonology, the phone, yeah, the sounds of the target text. For example, exclusive, but in bahasa Indonesia, the letter X will transferred into EKS, yeah, not using X. So it is a pure word.
It's not pure.
Can we call it still borrowing?
Serapan.
No, it's not serapan. Yes, that's borrowing, but modifying. It's not pure. Yeah, it's not pure. Okay, that's loan word. And how about cultural substitution, Iqbal?
Cultural substitution, kata yang kalimat yang satu berlaku di suatu budaya tertentu gitu, jadi kayak gimana jelasinnya ya?
Okay, can you give the example?
Misalnya ada misalnya di negara di budaya A gitu ada semacam festival, sedangkan di translate ke Indonesianya gitu kayak upacara bersyukur gitu, atau apa?
Jenis kata yang ada di bahasa Inggris tadi apa? Apa specific word-nya? Specific phrase-nya apa? Tadi sudah saya buat loh contohnya. Tadi dengarkan kan?
Yang kayak Thanksgiving gitu.
Diterjemahkan apa tadi Thanksgiving? Contohnya, kalau kita mencocokkannya dengan budaya orang Indonesia, diterjemahkan apa itu Thanksgiving itu?
Upacara bersyukur gitu, hari perayaan panen.
Boleh. Nah itu contohnya tadi ya. Thank you, Thorik.
Iqbal.
Oh yes. Berarti untuk saya belum cek list di sini. Iqbal ya, saya lupa ini di atasnya. Thank you, Muhammad Iqbal Fakhri.
Yes, sir.
Nah, sekarang baru Muhammad Thorik. Muhammad Taufiq, are you here? Oh iya, persis di bawahnya Muhammad Iqbal ya. Tapi gelap banget, but that's fine. Muhammad Taufiq, what do you know about primary and secondary meaning? What do they mean?
Pakai bahasa boleh?
You can mix. Ini gelap banget kamar kamu ini. Kamu kayak belajar di terowongan. Please go on.
Secondary meaning is, I think it's the same word with the different meaning, like as mentioned before, like runs is mean running or dripping or walk or work or something.
So that's the secondary or the primary meaning. When you translate run into bahasa Indonesia, you can translate run into
bisa jadi lari, terus bisa jadi.
Oh, so lari, is that a primary meaning or secondary meaning?
Primary meaning.
And what are the other words?
Bisa kayak machine is running, itu artinya mesinnya bekerja.
Alright, so the bekerja is the primary or the secondary meaning of a word?
The secondary meaning.
Secondary meaning. Yeah, you got it. Thank you, Muhammad Taufiq. And the last person for today is Nurul. Nurul Fadilah.
Yes, sir.
Are you here, Miss?
Sir.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry, ini namanya belum saya berikan warna khusus tadi ya. Specific color for specific person. So. Ya, Muhammad Nurul. Have you opened the camera? Yes. Selalu ketika saya panggil tertutup oleh layar Excel saya. Because you are the last person I'm asking today, Nurul, so can you conclude the process of translation, the 3 steps, and then explain each step? Di dalam penerjemahan tadi itu ada 3 ya, tiga tahap penting di dalam melakukan penerjemahan. Can you explain it? The 3 steps?
Yang pertama tuh membaca dulu, sir. Baca, terus yang kedua cari artinya. Terus yang ketiga reconstruction.
Siapa yang bilang tahapan pertama membaca? Ada di situ reading? Nggak ada reading. Yang ada studying kan?
Ya.
Nah, di dalam studying itulah aktivitasnya itu adalah to read the text carefully, to find out what is the field of the text or what is it about. Yeah. And the second one is the analyzing. So in analyzing step, what activities do you do as a translator?
Mencari arti aslinya atau dari budayanya.
Mencari arti aslinya. Emang ada arti yang nggak asli?
Maksudnya arti yang lebih tepat gitu, yang paling tepat.
Iya, kan sudah disesuaikan. Kamu sudah tahu tadi ini bidang apa sih teksnya, berarti sudah tahu mencari kamus apa nih sekarang, kamus biologi atau fisika gitu ya. Kalau memang teksnya berhubungan fisika, jangan cari glosari biologi, artinya itu ya. Jadi nggak ada makna yang tidak asli ya. Oke. And di tahap terakhir tadi reconstructing atau restructuring?
Menyusun grammar mungkin. Menyusun grammar.
Emang disusun grammar? Apanya yang disusun? Masa grammar yang disusun? Nggak pernah saya mendengarkan disusun grammar. Ayo, sekarang kamu kan anak bahasa, coba gunakan kalimat yang lebih jelas. Masa, coba tanya nanti teman kamu, pernah nggak grammar disusun? Nggak ada grammar disusun. Yang ada disusun tuh kata-kata menjadi kalimat. Menyesuaikan strukturnya kan, maksudnya itu kan?
Ya.
Menyesuaikan maksudnya jangan kamu sesuaikan struktur ke bahasa sumber, tapi karena pembaca teks ini adalah pembaca sasaran, ya berarti sesuaikan strukturnya sesuai dengan the reader text gitu. Oke. Hanya kata-kata yang kamu pilih untuk membuat kalimat kamu itu yang membuat saya tuh agak kurang paham, tapi kamu sebenarnya udah paham di otak kamu nih, Nurul. Kebanyakan kita seperti itu, tapi menyampaikan kepada orang lain kita belum paham. Itu sih yang saya tarik dari kalimat-kalimat kamu tadi. Okay, thank you so much, Nurul, Fadila. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to open up the camera before I end this meeting. I'm very sorry, I took
Sorry, sir.
5 minutes. Saya ambil lebih ya.
Sir,
Yes.
saya belum
Who is-
dipanggil.
Who is this?
Safira.
Safira, sir. Belum dipanggil.
Safira Nur Aziza?
Iya.
Iya.
Atau jangan ini yang tadi lupa saya. Safira tadi tadi dari awal saya panggil nggak namanya?
Enggak, belum.
Tadi ini Safira yang mana yang saya panggil?
Shakira, Mister.
Oh,
Shakira.
Syakir. Oh iya.
Absen 28, Sir.
Beda
Iya,
sama
iya,
namanya
iya.
beda, sir. Jadi ada
Safira dan Syakira ya.
Yes.
Oh ya, Safira, what do you know about translation? Okay, translation by using general word. What do you mean about translating by using general word?
It's the transferring the translation with
Apa-apa? Transferring the translation kok ditransfer translationnya? Apanya yang ditransfer?
maksudnya di,
Inilah pakai yang benar katakan. Masih sudah transfer translation lagi, kan translation sudah transfer, redundant bahasanya. Transferring the meaning kan, bukan transfer the translation.
mau can you repeat, sir? Sorry.
Okay, what do you mean? What can you explain? Okay, this is a strategy. Ini adalah sebuah strategi yang sering digunakan oleh seorang penerjemah amateur translator. By translating the word using a general word. So what do you mean general word? Oke, sekarang saya pengen tanya, ini ada di PPT kamu di pertemuan keberapa? Baca nggak kamu?
Di yang pertama bukan, sir.
Judulnya apa yang pertama coba?
Translation theory.
Dan itu lebih spesifik topiknya tentang apa? Ketika saya tanya tadi ada general word, cultural substitution, borrowing atau loan word, itu ada di bagian mana tuh? Berhubungan dengan handling a non-equivalent word.
Oh, iya.
Di halaman berapa PPT kamu itu, Neng?
Di
Saya ingin tahu, apakah kamu punya PPT-nya?
ada, sir. Punya.
Iya, bagus berarti. Coba cek di halaman berapa itu.
Di halaman 10.
Coba baca. Satu halaman itu isinya apa? Judulnya. Saya tahu judulnya. Judul di halaman itu apa?
What is non-equivalence?
Iya. Artinya bagaimana seorang penerjemah menerjemahkan kata yang tidak ada padanannya persis di bahasa sasaran. Yang pertama apa caranya?
Translation by a more general word.
Iya, apa itu maksudnya, Neng? Kemarin saya jelaskan. Oke. Nah, nantilah saya tanyakan lagi kamu yang Safira ya. Tadi Nurul mana ya? Nurul.
Yes, sir.
Oke, Nurul, pertanyaan tadi ke kamu, pertanyaan saya ke kamu tadi tentang apa sih?
3 proses translating.
Oke, iya, baik. Berarti sudah ada di sini dan saya pastikan akan kembali dan memang akan saya ini kembali untuk minggu depan. Karena minggu depan minggu keberapa? Di off?
7, sir.
Iya, pas lah sebelum UTS, berarti minggu depan kita masih sesi diskusi dan tanya jawab sambil saya berikan pertanyaan-pertanyaannya. Dibaca lagi ya teksnya.
Berarti ini
ya.
apa yang ikut yang sekarang ya?
Semuanya harus ikut, semuanya harus ikut.
Oh iya.
Kan nilai kamu kan masih di sini pas-pasan menurut saya.
Iya, baik.
Saya akan tambahkan lagi nanti, apalagi yang khususnya yang tadi yang nilainya masih 0, yang belum bisa menjawab kan. Yang bisa menjawab separuh, nilainya sudah ada separuh gitu ya. Kan kamu kalau separuh jiwa kamu juga kan tidak akan harus ada nanti soulmate-nya kan. Oke, adik-adik, I invite you to open the camera for the last session for today. Sorry, I take 10 more minutes. Ya, saya sudah lebih 10 menit. Nanti bilang sama dosen setelah ini ya, Pak Gunawan tadi mengambil 10 menit. Gitu ya. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm taking your photo now. Need your best smile. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, I'll see you next week. That's all I can say. And I love you all. I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Have a nice
Thank you,
day.
sir.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Love you.
I'll see you next week.
Sir, aduh.